Okay, so a weird thing happened when I was doing the Man-at-Arms video, and that was that the stopped working, and that stopped that video. So anybody wondering why it ended kind of abruptly, that's why. But I kind of feel like it gotten to the point where I was just kind of babbling incoherently, as I tend to do. So that's why I decided to let that end. So this is going to be a custom that I made. And I made my own version of He-Man for Origins. You can see him. This is a pretty simple recipe for anybody who wants to try to do it themselves, but it might be a little on the expensive side because I used a head from Classics that is not cheap. It's like I had an extra one, but if you don't have an extra one and you want to just get this head for it, maybe try to get a casting or something. That might be cheaper. But I already had two different figures that this head came with, because I had Ular, the Jungle He-Man, and I had the Super 7 Ultimates version of He-Man. That's actually this one in particular. And I put it on this figure. I gave it a little bit of a coat, just a light coating of yellow over the hair, because I felt like that figure wasn't quite blonde enough. The accessories all came from the Origins He-Man, as did his trunks and the boots. But since the head didn't match up quite as well in terms of skin color, you can see it's like a little more orangey, a little more peach, I guess. The head's a little more tan. I used another figure for the torso and the legs, and can you guess what figure I used? Can you figure it out? Can you smell what He-Man is cooking? Yeah, that's right, I used the Rock, because the Rock's skin color actually matches up with He-Man pretty well, like I pointed out in my review of the Rock figure. So I was already kind of thinking about doing that, and I popped this head on there, and I thought it looked pretty good. So I figured, why the heck not? Just transfer everything else over to the Rock, put the trunks on him, and the boots. I don't think the legs are supposed to come off, technically, so I kind of had to work at that a little bit. What I wound up having to do was dip them in the whole waist piece with the legs attached. I had to dip it in some warm water and let it sit for a bit. And then once the plastic had softened up enough, I was able to twist the thighs off of the pelvis. So then when I had the trunks loose, I was able to take the legs off the other figure and put them onto this one, and voila! So, you know, I think he turned out pretty well. The only thing is I forgot to take the tattoo off there. I keep forgetting about that. So I need to get that off of there eventually. He-Man doesn't have tattoos. So, I don't know, maybe he would if they created him today. They'd want to be more edgy or something, I don't know. But back in my day, He-Man didn't have tattoos. So, you know, I think that head works really well. I think it looks like the vintage one. This is the one that if you watch the vintage review, I was holding him up and saying, like, I don't think it's quite as good as the vintage head. And I still don't think they quite captured the magic of the vintage head, but it's still a good head in its own right. And it's definitely better than the head that came on the original Origins figure, which, like I said, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this one. I'll probably have more customs soon, because this was a lot of fun to put together. Alright, take care. Bye.